All right, guys, today the old plasma, where'd you go? The plasma has made its last cut. And I don't know why, but I felt like I needed to document this because I kind of feel like I'm telling one of my kids, get the hell out of my house. You're grown, you're done, you've done what you needed to do for me. Now go set your wings or go fly away. I don't even know what the hell. I'm lost for words. Last cut, October 9th of 2025. I didn't do a half bad job on that. But anyway, in today's video, we're going to show you, that was the last cut, but we already done the other cuts. So yeah, time travel, go back. Anyway, today's video, we're gonna show you guys the difference between the plasma and the laser. Some of the pros of both, some of the cons of both, the cut quality. The cut quality is, I mean, there's no comparison, none whatsoever. But the speed, no comparison, no comparison. There was a couple of things, like the coolness of the part with the plasma with the water bed is pretty nice, just to be able to grab the parts right out of there. But there's not a lot. So anyway, we'll get into all that at the end of the video. Here should be a side-by-side time lapse of both of them cutting. Then we'll get into all the geeked out stuff at the end. Shutter is open and fire. Okay, so you got to see the difference between the plasma and the laser. Few talking points that I wanted to mention on this. First off, I guess, show you, I don't know how well you can actually see it, all the dross that's on there. And 1/4 inch is not one of our bad cuts on the plasma, but once you see the laser part here, I mean, it is night and day different. So both of these are obviously right off of the laser, right off the plasma. Trying to grab the better of the plasma so that it doesn't look like I'm trying to dog on the plasma, but you see the dross line around there. And again, just nothing on the laser. I mean, nothing. There's not even enough. We got it set good enough where there's not even a fingernail. You can't even catch your fingernail on it. So there's no comparison as far as from the plasma to the laser cut wise. The laser, so just for kind of some talking points, if you will, the Mackie should have put a time deal on there while he was editing it. There we go. But just in case you didn't actually see that, so the cut time on the feet, so 1/4 inch material, 2 1/16 center hole to fit a 2 inch post. We do a 3 1/2 inch wide foot. We try to keep them as small as we possibly can for the hardware. 3/8 hole in the corner, and yeah, again, just at a 1/4 inch plate. So as you can tell there, or hope you can tell, the cut on the laser is almost perfectly straight up and down. Just grab a random one here. On the plasma, it is far from it. I was gonna get a set of calipers. I may grab them here in a minute, but anyway, there's a pretty substantial kerf on the plasma. So anyway, cut time from the plasma to the laser. The plasma feet were taking 1 minute and 34 seconds per cut. That's just as soon as the machine would fire up, I pressed the button and then stopped it. On the laser, it's 40 seconds. So obviously, if you're doing one or two handrails that you might have 8 to 10 on, it's not substantial. You're talking 5 minutes per 8, I think is what it was, the difference. But where we are really happy and really excited to go to the laser side is just the no cleanup. It's not a super big deal with the plasma when you have it set right. The dross goes ahead and pops right on off. But nevertheless, it's another process that you have to go through after you take it off the table. Whereas the laser, as long as the parts come off good, they're great. I will say we did have one fall kind of sideways on the laser. The tip kind of ran up on another one while it was trying to cut this one. So is that a butchered part? Can't use it? No, we can still use it. We can take a grinder to it and grind it off flat. No big deal. You're gonna have that no matter which process you run with. But going over to the caps, we done a 1 7/8 cap for a 2 inch post. Pretty common, that's what we use. 11 gauge plate, like I said. They were basically 5 seconds on the plasma and 10 seconds, 10 seconds on the plasma, 5 seconds on the laser. So it cuts all the time in half. And again, I just want to be the one to say here, if you're a small job shop just starting off, the plasma is an excellent thing to go with. We started with the plasma. It kind of put us on the map. But 4 years into it now, 3 years into it now, however long we've had it, we're losing jobs to other laser shops. People will call us, hey, can you cut this out? Yep. Is it laser cut? No, it's plasma. Okay, click, hang up the phone. But now let's get into kind of some of the geeky stuff. The amperage rating. So when the plasma was running, I only tested it on 11 gauge. I forgot to test it on 1/4. So this is just the plasma line that I ran the amperage on, not the computer and all of that. It ran, the highest was 33 amps. So you're running 33 amps for twice as long, if you will, per cut. Doesn't matter what you're doing. On the laser, the way I've got my machine shop or the laser panel wired up over there is it's running everything. So I've got my vent off of that panel. I've got the chiller, the laser machine itself, and the laser unit itself, and the ventilation fan. So all 4 things on the same line running. Constant was 25 at its highest. Now, the con to the laser, because of the chiller, now you're not typically gonna have a lot of time where the machine's just running, no production, but something to note that the laser ran at, I believe it was 11 or 12 amps constant. You know, cutting plate, not cutting plate, didn't matter. Whereas the laser, or the plasma rather, it only ran half an amp to an amp. That's just the machine on, you know, again, I didn't read the computer, but I can't see the computer pulling that much amperage. But nevertheless, something to note. If you say you have 15, 20 minutes, maybe longer in between loading and unloading plates on both machines, well, there's amperage, that's electricity that's used up. The gas consumption. So the air compressor, obviously you have an electricity that you're paying for that, but you're not actually paying for the gas. I think my specific air compressor, I've got a twin cylinder machine, or 2 pumps, both of them twin cylinders, to just try to keep up with the air capacity for the plasma. I think it runs at 20 amps ish, and it pulls the juice. But going on over into the laser side, I don't know the specific dollar amount. I'd have to go through all the kilowatt hour rating and what I'm getting charged, so on and so forth, but you can do that for your area. The laser, as far as gas usage on our side, I don't have an exact gas usage, bottle usage per day, so on and so forth. But what I'm being told by other ShopSabre laser owners and just other laser shops in general, if you're running oxygen on carbon plate, you're probably going to go through 1.5 250 bottles a day if you're running it a full 10-hour day. We've used it for, I don't know, off and on, say 3 days ish, and we've burned through about 1,100 pounds in a bottle. So, and that's out of a 250 as well. I bought 300s, but I had a 250 hooked up to try to give you some better in-depth stuff. The loading was one of the things that I wanted to comment on. Trying to load onto the laser is a lot easier, or loading onto the laser is a lot easier with that pull-out drawer. For the plate rack itself is really slick, really sexy. And then when parts drop, you have the tray underneath. You just pull the tray out, you grab your parts, and you go on about your day. It's really a slick design. But one of the cons, I will say, is you kind of have to wait for the stuff to cool down off the laser, or go ahead and grab some gloves or a pair of pliers or whatever to get the parts off of it. Whereas the plasma behind me here, with the water bed, you can grab them off there immediately. It doesn't matter if it's on the top or in the bottom, but that is a con of the plasma with the water table. When we've got nice clean water in it, it's fine. You can almost see to the bottom and you can just grab your parts out of there, no big deal. When you've ran the thing for 3 or 4 months and haven't had time to clean it out, it is pretty nasty underneath there, and all your parts are coming out nasty. They don't look good. They're just dirty. They're greasy. They're oily. They're not nice to handle. But again, you can just grab it right off. So if you're cutting a big part that doesn't fall down between the slats, you can just grab it and go right to work with it. You can pick it up barehanded. The loading, dirty parts, cool parts, I already shared that. Oh, the cut lines. So on the plasma there, you might have seen that whenever I was cutting it out, the line in between it was getting burnt up as well. So I left an 1/8 of an inch reveal, or I don't know what you would call that, but an 1/8 of an inch in between the two parts, and it went ahead and burned it up. So realistically, I think we were 3/16-ish, and it would leave a small line in there to where, it would kind of hold the part, wouldn't go ahead and fall down in. Or if you had a startup that was close to the next one, it didn't mess with it. If they're all in one solid line where you can tool path it to where it starts off to the side, it's fine. But if you have a full sheet nested on there it's kind of a pain in the ass. Sometimes it'll go to start off and there won't be material there for it to actually be reading on, depending on how your lead in and lead outs are. Now on the laser, you can share cut lines. All the parts that I cut, the feet and the caps, I didn't do any entry and exits. It was just start right on the cut line. The laser does a really good job. So for what we're doing, there's a very, very minuscule arc mark. And in fact, I was gonna try to find one to show you guys, but I can't find it. You can't tell a difference between it and the rest of the cuts. I mean, that's how good it does. Another thing as far as the laser versus the plasma, notable thing is loading parts. So we're gonna do this little demo, this little test, and I was gonna do 4 parts or 4 feet. And I thought, well, that's not quite enough time to really get the gist of it and to show you. And on 4 feet for the plasma, I build them on Fusion. I have a post processor that converts it over into a tap file for the ShopSabre, and I load it on there. Well, like us, especially with the new office, wherever it's at. Where's the office? Oh, way over there. You can't see it. With the new office being upstairs, if you forgot a part, added the part in the wrong spot, trying to use up a waste spot, you got to go back up to the office to reprogram it and send it back down to the computer. Whereas on the laser, with their nesting software on there and their plate configuration on there, it's simple. Oh shit, I could get another 5 feet out of this, or 5 feet, actual feet. I can get another 5 feet out of it. Just go back 1 step in the computer, bam, you're off to the races. The Ray Tools controller is really nice for that. And another part of it with the laser side of it, it has onboard parts. So, like these feet, the same time that it would take you to design it on Fusion or in route, depending on what software you're using, or I can't think of any of the other ones, but depending on what you were going to use to design it, it's going to take you the same amount of time to just design it on board. You can create this foot, you can put a radius on it, you can put a radius on the inside, you can do all of that right there on that computer, which is really, really nice, especially for us because our office is a little bit of a walk to get to. Another thing on the plasma, so you have to zero each time where you're going to do it. So say you're going to cut out one of these feet, and that this foot needs to be in a certain area on the plate. You just have to zero it on the computer. Whereas with the pendant on the laser, you can literally just pick it up, take it to your next spot, frame it out. Okay, yep, I got enough room left on the plate right here. Bam, go. You don't have to worry about all your 0 points and everything else. And I talked about that in the setup video. There is a way to change that if you don't want it that way, but for us it was pretty nice. Yeah, I talked about the changing the parts. The con, again, on the laser on the gas side of it, is just going and getting it. If you're in town somewhere like that, where you're close to a weld and supply store and you're renting bottles, they'll probably come and drop your bottles off, no big deal, or exchange them rather. Us, we're about 45 minutes from the weld and supply store, so it doesn't make any sense for them logistically to get it out here and bring us bottles consistently. So we have to take an hour and a half to go in and get our bottles and exchange it. Got to wait a week. So that is it's a con, just something that you need to think of when you're doing it. Another thing, plasma versus the laser. We could never really charge over, it was like $80 an hour on the plasma rate. When we started getting over that, it really started to cripple. Nope, don't want it, don't, it's not worth it. And I understand. But on the laser side of it, you can charge, $190 to $220 an hour. And I already know where you're going with that. Well, it's taking you half the time, so you're making about the same money. But you can get twice the production done in a day, where it's going to take you, just hypothetical numbers, an hour and a half to cut out a full 4x8 sheet with these 2-inch post feet. On the plasma, it's going to take like 3.5 hours. By the time it picks up, goes over to the next cut, the rapid travel of the laser is just way faster. So anyway, and I guess another pro and con would be the dollar side of it. I need to get with ShopSabre, make sure they're okay with me pitching numbers here. But when I bought my plasma back in 21 or 22, I don't remember, the plasma was about $27,000, I think. I think I had to do maybe $1,000, $1,500 worth of wiring over to the table. And then the laser that we just got from ShopSabre, by the time we bought it, got it shipped, got all the wiring done, you know, we were probably somewhere around 90 grand to get it in and get it set up and going. But again, twice the production. Everybody will tell you on the cleaning parts that I've talked to, pretty well an hour of cutting with the plasma is an hour of cleaning. The laser, they're telling you 15 minutes. To be real honest, if you do your work at the beginning, you don't even have to clean the part coming off the table. So anyway, a lot of different things to take into consideration there. But anyway, there's my 2 cents on the machines. If you had the money, go ahead and buy the laser, hands down. Had the money in the room. It's a pretty big machine. But hey, if you're an entry-level guy, just get a plasma, you know, do some feet and caps and stuff like that. I will say the sign market, you know, we cut out a bunch of signs over the years for like craft fairs or something like that, or somebody just call, and it had to be a pretty big sign to get any quality out of it. You know, if you had a letter or something that had a 16th inch gap in it, or 16th inch piece of metal that needed to stay in there, it was pretty well junk. So the laser though, we cut out a sign the other day, and I mean, it'll leave little strips in there. I mean, little strips. So anyway, there's my 2 cents, guys. Just like the ShopSabre video, bringing it in. If you guys have any questions, if I missed something here, just email the Facebook page or the YouTube page, wherever you're seeing this at, and I'll try to get back a hold of you as quick as I can. I'm, again, not sponsored by ShopSabre in any of these yet, but I just really like the product that they're bringing out. And on just another pro of the ShopSabre side, with the single phase machine that we bought, I didn't have to spend a bunch of money, power upgrade. I was looking at a 3 or 4 kilowatt machine last year around this time, and I think it was $140,000, $150,000, and I was gonna have to spend about $60,000 to bring electric into the shop. Whereas the ShopSabre, you know, lock, stock, barrel, we're up running parts, actually bottles and all. I think I bought 6 bottles. We had, you know, 90,000 in it. So it's still expensive, but if you're looking to make the jump, ShopSabre's got pretty well the cheapest one on the market out there right now. And I don't know if I mentioned this before in this video, but both machines really, I can't say this was a pro or a con of either one, but both machines, from the time they unloaded off the truck to cutting parts, I think the plasma, we were 3 hours-ish. The laser, we were less than 5 hours. And I'm honestly gonna go out on a limb and say 45 minutes of that was just going back through and reading the manual and finding out how to actually get the damn thing to start cutting, because I didn't do any of that beforehand. We were just too busy in the shop. But anyway, guys, there's my spill on the 2 machines. Hit me up if I can help out in any way, and if I missed something, let me know. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Hey, like, comment, subscribe. Trying to grow this YouTube channel so I can keep putting out content for you guys. See you on the next one.